there's a lot of talk about the software and the hardware and LiDAR and radar and this and that, and Autopilot's a flop, and I certainly don't think Autopilot's a flop. My experience is Autopilot's fantastic, and I have the 2.0 hardware, and it's fantastic. And I don't know about the 2.5 hardware, the rumors about that, and I have faith that Tesla will make things right if it can't be full self-driving in the future. But until then, I'm just going to enjoy the hell out of Autopilot, and really, it's the funnest thing. Level 3 is fun. You get to mix in the 10% of fun driving with the 90% of monotonous driving, and let the 90% be done by the Autopilot.
Of course, the Autopilot is really designed for the interstate, where you have predictable roads with nice shoulders and paint, and you can go from state to state. Never once breaking the speed limit. The Autopilot allows you to enjoy the view on the highway and be safe and secure. You can check out the scenery and never get out of your lane. Of course, you don't have to do the speed limit, and in fact, you can keep up with whatever the traffic is doing in front of you.
So what's really holding back full self-driving? Is it really the vehicles, the software, government regulations? I think what really is holding it back is the lack of good infrastructure. One of the first things we need is just better line markers, better lane markers. One of the few places the Autopilot struggles on the highway is when you're going straight and there's an exit to the right and there's no markings. It wants to veer and then comes back, and it kind of does the zigzag. You feel that?
Yes.
And sometimes it handles it just fine.
The places where they have a dotted line along there, it almost always does it very smooth and straight. So that's a simple fix, just a little bit of paint. So that'd be easy, paint. Another problem is the roads are falling apart. There's potholes everywhere. So what happens is people actually go out of the lanes on purpose, because otherwise it'll be thud, 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 and they would ruin their vehicles and their tires and their transmissions. Excuse me, not their transmissions, their suspensions, of course. Can self-driving get around this? Well, it's not really the car's fault that there's a pothole. What we really need is better roads. We need better government. We need better politicians to fix the roads, and of course we need to pay taxes to fix the roads. Everybody should pay their fair share. So fix the roads, get rid of the potholes so we don't have to all zig around, which is always dangerous, and the cars can actually stay in their lane. Because I do notice that the self-driving car, the Autopilot, will take you right over a pothole, of course, because there's no reason for it not to. Poorly designed intersections. You all know what I mean. They're misaligned, they're zigging and zagging. I have a number of examples around here that I can be an Autopilot for part of it, going to the intersection, then it kicks me out, and I have to go through the intersection and it lets me back in.
Or when you have an S-turn going through an intersection. Here I had the Autopilot on until this moment. I used the steering wheel to take off the lane assist because that truck on the right was too close to me. The Autopilot wants to keep it in the center lane and not cheat either way, regardless of what other people are doing. Even big trailers.
I think it'd be easy to do. Again, one of the main things you could do is just have paint and have the line markers all through that intersection. That would take care of probably 99% of it. One of the reasons I have the Model X is because I lost the Model S by hitting the edge of the road in a flooded road, basically. That was the whole point of that video. How do you see the side of the road? Now, it's not always flooded, but sometimes it rains really hard and you can't see the edge. There's places where it snows very hard and you can't see the edge. So how do you do that? A lot of places where it snows, you have posts. And it shows you where the edge of the road is. I think we need more of that kind of infrastructure where it shows you where the actual edge of the road is. What you could have is on the edge of the road something that would emit some sort of ultrasonic signal, or maybe even be some sort of ultraviolet glow that the vehicle could see and it would know that's the edge of the road. Maybe it would even show up through rain and water and snow, smoke, so on. So that'd be sort of a cooperation or collaboration between the vehicle and the edge of the road. There's a lot of places where the edge of the road is smack dab against a building. Or smack dab into the ditch. There's no shoulder there. This is great, look at this. We basically need more shoulders. The self-driving cars will always have some problem, possibly with pedestrians and bikes and animals. And especially if they're darting in front of you, and I mean, that's not necessarily the car's fault that somebody darts in front of you or an animal darts in front of you, and whether you can stop or not is really dependent on the laws of physics. If the car's going that fast, you're not going to be able to stop no matter how great it is. You may be able to swerve, maybe I'll fly over it in the future, but sometimes it's impossible to stop if there's no time. So one of the things is around here, again, there's almost never a shoulder. There's very few sidewalks in this city. There's not even shoulders. So there's no place to walk, there's no place to ride your bike. One of the things you could do is have better shoulders, as I say, more sidewalks, or sidewalks everywhere, and bike paths and multi-use paths, so you get the pedestrians away from the cars, and you have dedicated roads for your self-driving cars, and you have dedicated paths and roads for bicycles and pedestrians. And I think if you had self-driving cars, you'd eliminate a lot of traffic and you'd open up some roads for bicycles and pedestrians. And perhaps in the future we'll just have drones and we'll have all the roads to ourselves for basically bicycles and so forth, and whatever kind of scooters people have in the future. One of the best solutions I've ever seen is along the interstate in Colorado, both over Vail Pass and in Glenwood Canyon. They have a multi-use paved path, and because the way the interstate is, there's sometimes big separations between the eastbound and westbound lanes, and so you have a path that's in between them, or sometimes on either side. And even though there's a highway on either side of you, sometimes you're kind of in a forest or you're in a canyon. And Glenwood Canyon particularly is very beautiful, as is Vail Pass. And it's just something they could do everywhere, basically every interstate. And in the future, with your self-driving car, you could bike for 10, 20, 50 miles. Car would follow you on the interstate, pick you up, load the car up, you drive somewhere else. You don't like the wind situation, or you don't like the rain, the car picks you up. There's so much stuff that we haven't even thought about with self-driving cars that's going to make our life easier. And I can't wait.
Now, I'd like to say something about the unfortunate crash in 2016 that took a life. Now, apparently, the NTSB has blamed an over-reliance on the automation of Autopilot, and not the Autopilot itself. But of course, the headlines say something else. Now, I'm not going to fault this man for over-relying on the technology and feeling like the car is invincible, because the car gives you that sense. And I know that accidents happen, and usually it's not just one accident, it's a series of mistakes that lead up to that accident. Humans have to help the cars be more defensive. We have to pay attention. We have to look out for other drivers, pedestrians, so on. We're really the beta testers. As I drive around the city, I'm driving in areas that the autopilot's not really designed for, and I understand that. That's why I'm paying attention more and more. This should help give Tesla more data, and you can define exactly what intersections need the most software help, the most refining. And again, there might be intersections that need infrastructure refinement with extra paint or extra redesigning. But in short, we shouldn't let perfect be the enemy of good. Autopilot is great right now. It may never be perfect, but nothing is.
That was scary but fun.
So again, thanks for watching. Don't listen to Sasha the Trickster Coyote. He's not good. Subscribe and like it. Use the referral code. Thank you. Yes, it's me again, Sasha. I have very sad news. It's been a while, and I have not been able to find a doctor to separate us, so I'm going to have to put up with this guy. He keeps calling me a puppet. No puppet! But anyways, he's the puppet. And he's an idiot. Don't listen to him. Don't subscribe. I've changed my mind again. That's how I am. I don't really, whatever. I've got my shorts on again for Tesla. So go ahead and unsubscribe, unlike, whatever you do, whatever that is. I don't even care. Just whatever. And you do that. Quit watching. I think there's something on Fox or ABC, one of those other channels. Get the rabbit ears or the UHF antenna. You can make it out of the wire clothes hanger. Make a loop, and you'll get all those channels. So, yeah, quit watching this YouTube crap. Goodbye.